Hey everyone, Spencer the Knowledge Theron from Sky Sports' Ringside Toe to Toe Boxing Podcast and hashtag Toe to Toe. Listen up, give Sporting Icon a follow.
All right, everyone, I hope you're all doing fantastic. Now, first of all, apologies for the lack of videos over the last week or so, and of course for the next week or so as well. I'm currently fitting my kitchen. These are the wife's orders, okay? Yes, I'm doing it all myself because I'm too tight to pay someone else to come out and do it. But it's all right. I'm pretty handy with a drill and a saw and all that kind of thing. I've done it a few times before. But what I don't do is touch gas. So that's the reason why I lack of videos. Now, I was listening to a video earlier on this morning on YouTube as I'm doing the work. I'm cutting out a hole in the worktop for the new gas hob to fit in, all that kind of thing. And on in the background, I'm listening to Spencer Fearon and Tunde Ajayi on their Stamina for Sale YouTube channel. And they had Dillian Whyte on as a guest. And I'll put that video in the description box for you guys. Go over there, check it out. And pretty much the backbone of what this video was inspirations for all three of these guys, what inspired them to do certain things and blah, blah, blah. And of course, since that video, I've just been thinking about what has inspired me. What is it that I've done, or what is it that I've tried to achieve because of a certain moment in time, or whatever it may be. So I want to give you mine. Okay, now, of course, please give me yours, which is why I'm doing this video. So you guys tell me what your inspiration in life is, what moment it was that made you take a left turn or a right turn to achieve certain things. Now, I know the generic answer is, well, my kids are my inspiration, my family, whatever it could be, and that's cool. But for me, listen, I've got two. First of all, I started my YouTube channel because of my little boy. My little boy, he's 6 currently and nearly 7. Now, 3 years ago, he got diagnosed with Duchenne, which is why at the beginning of every single video and at the end of every video, you see this image of Duchenne, okay? I used to put links in the description box so people can go there, read up about Duchenne, and if you wanted to have a donation and things like that. And again, anybody who contacts me to make a contribution to the channel, which does happen quite a lot, I always tell people, go make a donation to Duchenne, something like that, because it's an incurable, horrible, disgusting disease. It really is, and unfortunately, it kills loads of boys and that. So that's one of my inspirations, which is why I started this channel, to get the message of Duchenne out there. That's why I put the image up. So there's one. Now there's another one as well, which is a bit of a story, and it all comes full circle really when it comes to boxing, because my dad, he never spent any kind of time with me. The only time he did was to discipline me for whatever reason it may be. He was quite heavy-handed. He's from the Northeast, and he used to like to drink a lot. Okay, and very, very heavy-handed. He didn't need to be taken off his belt and give me a whipping, but he did anyway, just for extra effect and that. So either way, my dad's a bit of a cocksucker. But me, my brother, my sister and that didn't like my dad. We were all intimidated by him as a kid, as you are. And of course, my mum as well. So on the very rare occasion that my dad was actually at home and sober, well, I think he was sober, I don't know, but he actually put on the TV, and this was actually the very first boxing match I ever seen, okay, which happened to be Barry McGuigan versus Jim McDonnell. So I'm a kid, I don't know how old I am, what, 8, 9 years old, maybe 10, I don't know, and I don't remember too much about the fight, other than Barry McGuigan looked like he was doing quite a good job of what it is that I could tell. And my dad, being from the Northeast, he was like old school, 70s or 60s, 70s, 80s, what have you. Didn't particularly like Southerners. Again, as I said, my dad's a bit of a cocksucker. So whenever somebody from the North wasn't fighting or in any kind of sport, he'd gravitate towards like the Republic of Ireland or Northern Ireland, whatever. So Barry McGuigan was one of my dad's favourite fighters. And I remember my dad saying something along the lines of, if Barry loses this fight, then he's going to retire, which is the last thing in the world that my dad wanted, right? He was a big Barry McGuigan fan. So as this fight's going on, I remember it not being very long, but the referee stopped the fight, or something happened to stop the fight, which of course made my dad really, really angry. Of course, my dad, he's using words that I'd never really heard of before, where he's turning the air blue with some of the language that, he's throwing around. And of course, when my dad speaks, I'm there like a deer in the headlights, like froze, oh crap, am I about to get a backhander here myself, even though I haven't done anything. So that's pretty much why I remember that moment, because the referee stopped the fight, or something happened to stop the fight, which made Barry McGuigan retire. Now, after the fight, obviously you got Barry, and Frank Warren happened to be there as well, because he was promoting Barry McGuigan, and Jim McDonnell was being promoted by Barry Hearn. So obviously you've got Frank Warren, he's complaining about a stoppage and blah, blah, blah. And while the camera is looking at the ring, and obviously you've got Tim McGuigan a bit down in the dumps and everything, I don't know exactly what words were used, but I remember Barry Hearn coming across, looking to the camera, smiling and asking everybody watching if they enjoyed the fight. It was lovely, and he gave like a thumbs up, or something happened. That moment flipped my dad. He booted the coffee table, my sandwich, my drink went all over the living room, all that kind of stuff, which again made me freeze, because maybe I'm going to get it next. And he started going in on Barry Hearn. He's the reason why Barry McGuigan lost. He paid off the referee. He did this, he did that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, or like a words to that effect. And since that moment, every time that something like a Barry Hearn was in the newspaper, for whatever it was, my mum will come in with the newspaper and say, oh, Barry Hearn said this and Barry Hearn's doing that, just to get a reaction out of my dad. So my dad was, oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and go in on one. So my mum used to use Barry Hearn as a way to wind up my dad, to piss him off, really. So, of course, my mum then liked Barry Hearn because of that reason. I then liked Barry Hearn because of that reason as well, which is why I started watching things like Steve Davis and what have you. So this one particular day, my mum read like his newspaper, and it was Barry Hearn, and Barry Hearn was saying something along the lines of how he wants his sports stars to earn enough money to buy their own house. I don't remember exactly how he put it, but that was pretty much the gist of it. And yes, of course, you've heard Eddie Hearn talking about that quite a lot lately as well. But that moment then lit off a light in my mum's head, which made her instill it into me and my brother and my sister in that, to make sure that we get ourselves on a property ladder, buy your house. That's all the time. When you leave school, get yourself a job, get yourself on a property ladder, buy your house. If you get a 25-year mortgage, pay it off sooner, all that kind of thing. Because ultimately, they can turn off the gas, the electric, the water, all that kind of thing. But what they can't do is remove the roof from over your head. That was always her thing. Because for her, she recognised that because my dad was an absolute scumbag, he would never put his money into getting a house or anything like that. So me and my siblings and that were never going to be left with anything other than their funeral bill. So my mum wanted to make sure that we were doing things that they didn't do. If that makes sense. So she'd always go in on it. So, of course, when I left school, I'd get myself a job. She'd be like, right, get yourself down the estate agents. Get yourself a mortgage, whether it be a flat, whether it be a house, whatever. Get yourself on a property ladder. Own something. So, ultimately, that's what I did. And I got a 25-year mortgage, and my mum's always going on about pay a bit more, clear it off, clear it off. So, that's ultimately what I ended up doing. So, 3-4 years ago, I managed to pay off my house. I then uproot, moved back here to Newcastle, and I bought my house, so I'm mortgage free. And I pretty much done it, I think, because of my mum. But my mum's inspiration came from Barry Hearn. So there's like a whole chain of events where had Barry McGuigan not have fought Jim McDonnell, had the fight not have ended the way that it did, had Barry Hearn not have come on camera, had my dad not have reacted the way that he did, for my mum to start then winding up my dad about like Barry Hearn, and then my mum would maybe never have read this particular thing about Barry Hearn, because my mum was never really into sport. I mean, she is now. She's absolutely mad on Formula One, but back then she wasn't really. So had all these kind of chain of events not have happened, the light bulb may not have switched into my mum, which made her all the time instill into me, get yourself a house, pay it off, which ultimately I did to please my mum, but it came from Barry Hearn. So ultimately, Barry Hearn was an inspiration. And what's come full circle since then is obviously, as some of you guys know, I've had Barry Hearn on the channel, among with like many guys as well. So Barry Hearn, where he's the reason why I paid off my house. And as I said, it's come full circle with me doing a boxing channel. And I've actually had Barry Hearn on the channel. Although I'm supposed to have Barry Hearn on the channel again at some point. We do need to rearrange. Barry got a flu the last time until we were supposed to do it. So Barry, give me a call and we'll do this video that we were talking about. So anyway, what is your inspiration? What happened? What's the chain of events that made you achieve something? For me, as I said, it was ultimately my mum, but her inspiration came from Barry Hearn. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it all. I mean, it is amazing that the amount of things that have to happen in order for us to have actually done something. Because had Barry McGuigan not have fought Jim McDonnell, I don't know if my mum would ever instilled into me to buy a house. I don't know whether or not that I would have bought a house. Maybe I'll be renting somewhere right now. I don't know. But Anyway, that's my story. You let me know yours. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up to this video. And of course, subscribe. And I'll catch you all on the next one.